Your phone buzzes. Your heart rate spikes. You check it before you even realize what you're doing. And 10 minutes later, you do it again. You pick up your phone an average of 96 times a day. That's once every 10 minutes during your waking hours. And most of those pickups aren't because something important happened. They're because of a notification, a red badge, a buzz in your pocket, a sound that your brain has learned to associate with the possibility of something rewarding. But here's what most people don't understand. This isn't a willpower problem. This is a neuroscience problem. Your brain has been systematically trained to respond to notifications the same way a lab rat responds to a lever that sometimes delivers food. The comparison isn't hyperbole. It's backed by decades of behavioral psychology research. A 2023 study published in the journal Nature Human Behavior found that smartphone notifications activate the same dopamine pathways as gambling. Not similar pathways, the same ones. The nucleus accumbens, the ventral tegmental area, the prefrontal cortex, all lighting up in patterns that are virtually identical to those seen in slot machine players. And the companies designing these notifications know exactly what they're doing. Former Google design ethicist Tristan has called smartphones slot machines in our pockets. He's not being dramatic. He helped design the systems. Today, we're going to break down the 6 psychological mechanisms that make notifications so addictive. These are the same principles that casinos, social media platforms, and app designers use to keep you coming back. And once you understand them, you can start to take back control. To understand notification addiction, you first need to understand what happens inside your brain in the 0.3 seconds between hearing a notification and reaching for your phone. It starts with dopamine, but not in the way most people think. Dopamine is often called the pleasure chemical, but neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz at the University of Cambridge proved that dopamine is actually about anticipation, not pleasure. His landmark research showed that dopamine spikes not when you receive a reward, but when you anticipate one. This distinction is critical. When your phone buzzes, your brain doesn't release dopamine because the notification is rewarding. It releases dopamine because the notification might be rewarding. It could be a message from someone you care about. It could be a like on your post. It could be breaking news. Or it could be a spam email. Your brain doesn't know yet. And that uncertainty is precisely what makes it so powerful. Dr. Lembke, chief of the Stanford Addiction Medicine Dual Diagnosis Clinic and author of Dopamine Nation, explains that the modern smartphone has created what she calls a dopamine deficit state. We're getting so many small dopamine hits throughout the day that our baseline drops. We need more stimulation just to feel normal. The average person receives between 65 and 80 push notifications per day. Each one triggers a microdose of dopamine anticipation. And over time, your brain physically rewires itself to crave those microdoses. The neural pathways that connect notification sounds to dopamine release become stronger and faster with every repetition. It's classical conditioning at a neurological level. The single most powerful psychological mechanism behind notification addiction is the variable reward schedule. This concept comes from psychologist B.F. Skinner, who discovered in the 1950s that the most effective way to reinforce a behavior is not to reward it every time, but to reward it unpredictably. Skinner tested this on pigeons and rats. When a lever delivered food every single time, the animals pressed it when hungry and stopped when full. Predictable reward, predictable behavior. But when the lever delivered food randomly, sometimes on the 3rd press, sometimes on the 20th, the animals pressed it compulsively. They couldn't stop, even when they weren't hungry. The uncertainty itself became addictive. Your phone notifications work on exactly the same principle. You check your phone, and sometimes there's a message from a friend. Sometimes there's a like on your photo. Sometimes there's nothing at all. And that randomness is what keeps you checking. A 2019 study from the University of Michigan found that people who received notifications at random intervals checked their phones 3.7 times more often than those who received notifications at predictable times. The content of the notification didn't matter. What mattered was that you never knew when the next one was coming. This is exactly how slot machines work, and it's not a coincidence. Eyal, author of Hooked: How to Build Habit-Forming Products, has documented how Silicon Valley deliberately applies variable reward schedules to app design. Every pull to refresh, every notification batch, every algorithmic feed is engineered to create uncertainty about what comes next. Humans are hardwired to care about what other people think. This isn't vanity, it's evolution. For 200,000 years, being accepted by your social group meant survival. Being rejected meant death. Your brain still operates on this ancient programming, and social media notifications exploit it ruthlessly. Every like, comment, follow, and share triggers a neurochemical response that tells your brain, you are accepted, you are valued, you belong. Neuroscientist Dr. Meshi at Michigan State University conducted brain imaging studies that showed social media feedback activates the same neural circuits as receiving a compliment in person. The brain literally cannot distinguish between a like on Instagram and a nod of approval from someone standing in front of you. But there's a crucial difference. In-person social validation is limited and natural. You might get a few compliments a day. Online social validation is quantified and infinite. You can see exactly how many people approved of you, down to the decimal. And that number becomes a metric your brain starts obsessing over. A 2022 study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that teenagers who received more likes on their posts showed increased activity in the brain's reward centers and decreased activity in the regions associated with self-control. The more validation they received, the less able they were to stop seeking it. It's a feedback loop with no natural off switch. Fear of missing out is not a modern invention, but modern technology has amplified it to pathological levels. FOMO was first formally described by marketing strategist Dr. Dan Herman in 1996, and later popularized by psychologist Dr. Andrew Przybylski at the Oxford Internet Institute. Przybylski's 2013 study, published in Computers in Human Behavior, found that FOMO is directly linked to lower life satisfaction, higher anxiety, and compulsive social media checking. But here's the part most people miss. FOMO isn't actually about missing events. It's about missing information. Your brain perceives every unchecked notification as a potential piece of information that could change something. A job opportunity, a social invitation, a crisis you need to respond to. And the brain's threat detection system treats missing information the same way it treats physical danger. The amygdala fires. Cortisol rises. You feel a low-grade anxiety that only goes away when you check. Dr. Larry Rosen, a research psychologist at California State University, measured cortisol levels in participants who were prevented from checking their phones for just 10 minutes. Cortisol spiked significantly within the first 2 minutes. The body was producing a stress response identical to what you'd experience if you heard a strange noise in your house at night. That's not an exaggeration. Your brain genuinely believes that missing a notification could be dangerous. And the only way to relieve that anxiety is to check, which reinforces the cycle. In 1927, Soviet psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik noticed something peculiar about waiters in a Vienna cafe. They could remember complex orders perfectly while they were still open, but the moment the bill was paid and the table cleared, the orders vanished from memory. This led to one of psychology's most important discoveries, the Zeigarnik Effect. Your brain remembers incomplete tasks far better than completed ones. Unfinished business creates a state of cognitive tension that your mind desperately wants to resolve. Notification badges exploit the Zeigarnik effect with surgical precision. That red circle with a number on your app icon is an unfinished task. Your brain registers it as an open loop that needs to be closed. You haven't read those 3 messages. You haven't cleared those 12 notifications. You haven't checked that update. And until you do, your brain will keep allocating cognitive resources to tracking them. A 2011 study by researchers at Florida State University found that the Zeigarnik effect doesn't just affect memory. It impairs performance on completely unrelated tasks. Participants who had unfinished tasks on their minds performed 23% worse on a subsequent cognitive test. Now multiply that by the 65 to 80 notifications the average person receives daily. Each uncleared badge is an open loop consuming mental bandwidth. Even when you're not looking at your phone, those red circles are occupying space in your working memory. The only relief is to check and clear them, which is exactly what the designers intended. Have you ever felt your phone vibrate, reached into your pocket, and found no notification? You're not imagining it. Well, technically you are, but you're not alone. A 2012 study published in Computers in Human Behavior found that 89% of smartphone users experience phantom vibrations. Nearly 9 out of 10 people regularly hallucinate notifications that don't exist. Dr. Robert Rosenberger, a philosopher of technology at Georgia Tech, has studied phantom vibrations extensively. His research suggests that the phenomenon occurs because your brain has reclassified certain sensory inputs. Before smartphones, a slight muscle twitch or fabric movement against your thigh was categorized as irrelevant background noise. Your brain filtered it out. But after months or years of carrying a vibrating phone, your brain has recategorized those same sensations as potential notifications. The threshold for detection has been lowered to the point where your nervous system now produces false positives. And here's what makes this particularly revealing about the depth of notification addiction. Your brain is not just responding to notifications that exist. It is manufacturing notifications that don't. It wants the dopamine hit so badly that it creates phantom stimuli to justify checking. Dr. Larry Rosen's research team at California State University found that the frequency of phantom vibrations correlates directly with anxiety levels and the strength of phone dependency. The more addicted you are, the more your brain hallucinates notifications. Your own nervous system has become complicit in the addiction. Everything we've discussed so far might sound like an unintended consequence of technology. It is not. The addictive properties of notifications were designed deliberately. In 2017, former Facebook Vice President Chamath Palihapitiya made a stunning public admission. He said, and I quote, "The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works." He wasn't speculating. He helped build the system. Sean Parker, Facebook's founding president, went even further. In 2017, he revealed that Facebook was designed from the beginning to exploit a vulnerability in human psychology. The goal, he said, was to consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible. These are not conspiracy theories. These are confessions from the architects themselves. Asa Raskin, who invented Infinite Scroll, has publicly expressed regret. He estimates that his single design decision wastes approximately 200,000 human lifetimes per day. 200,000 lifetimes. Every single day. Notification systems are built on the same principles used in gambling machine design. Chris Marcellino, who helped develop push notifications at Apple, later acknowledged that the techniques used to keep people engaged were directly borrowed from behavioral psychology and casino design. The red notification badge? That color was chosen specifically because red triggers urgency and arousal. The delay before a like count updates? That's a manufactured anticipation gap. The batch notification that arrives after you've been away? That's designed to create a reward burst that makes coming back feel satisfying. Understanding these 6 mechanisms is the first step. But knowledge alone won't override neural pathways that have been reinforced thousands of times. You need structural changes. First, turn off all non-essential notifications. Not silence them. Turn them off entirely. Dr. Adam Alter, a professor at NYU Stern School of Business and author of Irresistible, recommends a notification audit. Go through every app on your phone and ask one question. Does this notification require my immediate response? If the answer is no, disable it. Second, use grayscale mode. Research from the Center for Humane Technology shows that removing color from your phone screen reduces the visual salience of notification badges by up to 38%. The red badge loses its power when it's gray. Third, implement what Tristan Harris calls a notification-free morning. Don't check your phone for the first 60 minutes after waking. This prevents the dopamine cascade from starting before you've had a chance to set your own agenda for the day. Fourth, batch your checking. Instead of responding to each notification as it arrives, designate 3 to 4 specific times per day when you check. This breaks the variable reward schedule by making your checking behavior predictable. And finally, understand that this is not about willpower. It's about redesigning your environment. The same way a recovering gambler doesn't test their willpower by visiting casinos, you don't need to test yours by keeping every notification enabled. The 6 mechanisms we covered today, variable rewards, social validation, FOMO, the Zeigarnik Effect, phantom vibrations, and designed addiction, are powerful. But they only work if you let them operate unconsciously. Now that you see them, they lose their grip. If this video changed how you think about your phone, hit subscribe. We publish new psychology deep dives every week, exposing the hidden forces that shape your behavior. And if you've experienced phantom vibrations, or if you've tried turning off notifications and noticed a difference, tell us in the comments. Your experience could help someone else understand what they're going through. Until next time, stay aware, stay in control,